Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gamersledge Podcast, Season 4, Episode 343, Wandavision Ends and Newsalanche. I am one of your hosts, Mark, Editor-in-Chief of Gamersledge, and joining me tonight, over on the right side of the screen, and it'll switch to them when they talk. Excuse me, of course, we have the Principal, Matt, our Community Director. And then last but not least, the man who I will be drinking with this evening, contributor to the site and all-around scallywag, it is, of course, Dave. Hi, Dave.
Cheers.
Hey, I'm here too.
Oh, look at you going to get a drink. Yeah, all right.
Nice.
So I found a place near the house. It's about 15 minutes away. But it is the size of a Walmart and has nothing but alcohol in it. So when I saw the peanut butter Baileys, I was like, that sounds deliciously weird, and I love it. So peanut butter Baileys, hello.
Yeah, they've been throwing peanut butter and lots of alcohol lately. It's an odd thing that's happening. People are like, yo, you gotta try this peanut butter whiskey. And I'm like, nah.
You should try it.
I could eat a peanut butter sandwich if I want a peanut butter. If I want whiskey, I want whiskey. I don't understand why I have to mix the two.
Have a peanut butter sandwich and whiskey.
That's right.
Exactly. Problem
without
solved.
having to make the sandwich. That's the best part.
Or better yet, you put the sandwich and the whiskey in a blender, and then you make a drink out of it, and then
You should do that too.
I'm just sitting here with my, and it's just good. And I don't know why I want to mess this up. It's when it hits the lips, it's so good.
Well, as I mentioned at the top of the show, we have a bajillion news stories to talk about because the gaming world went nuts for the last 2 weeks. So we'll get into that, but before we do, let's go around the room very briefly and talk about what we've been up to. I'm going first. I'm just throwing the whole format out the window. So, because mine's super short, actually. I've been playing Fortnite, and I'm going to just go ahead and jump into the news, too. The next leak has come out from the data miners, and it looks like it will be Ant-Man is the final character of the season. So, if you're a Marvel fan, you like the Fortnites, then you might want to jump on. Probably going to drop tomorrow would be my guess. If not tonight. We'll see. So I've been playing Fortnite, Divinity Original Sin 2, Cyberpunk Red Tabletop RPG, and I played the Outriders demo that dropped. John, friend of the show, hated it. He absolutely detested everything about it. It is straight up Gears of War from the people that made Gears of War, only with alien superpowers attached to it. It's fine. Like, it's got some audio mistimings in this cutscene and stuff, and you can't jump, just like Gears of War. So, I mean, it's a cover-based shooter. You get Gears of War, a cover-based shooter. I mean, it's not called Gears of War, it's called Outriders. But literally, it's made from the people that made Gears of War 2 and 3. So guess what it feels like? Gears of War. 100,000%. In fact, somebody was saying, yeah, but there's no guy with the chainsaw whose name I happen to know is Marcus Phoenix. I have now exhausted my amount of Xbox trivia knowledge here. But there is actually a weapon in the game that you can get that looks like a chainsaw mounted to the front of a gun. So Marcus Phoenix is in there one way or another. They said that anything you get in the game would carry over. And so people have been abusively playing the demo over and over again to try and get super rare drops. And they've been doing so. And I guess the developers didn't think about that and don't want that. So now they're nerfing the demo. They're nerfing the demo.
That's probably the biggest news of the week, I'd say.
No, it's so not.
I really think that should be. Nerfing a demo is just an all-time. It's just a new low. We've literally we're both at the. We're simultaneously at the. I would actually say we're at a golden age of gaming.
Mm-hmm.
And yet at the same time, we are at the complete fall of civilization.
Oh yeah,
gaming at the same time. It's like we're doing both at the same time, and it's blowing my mind.
Yeah, And the other game that I've been playing is Learn Roll 20, which, if you're not familiar with, it's an online tabletop system. I own Fantasy Grounds. I became so frustrated with it, and every other game that I've been playing it has been Roll 20. So I'm like, screw it, I'm going to learn to Roll 20 to potentially run a game in there. And it's not perfect, none of them are, but it's pretty impressive what you can do in it. So I've been working on that.
You mean to tell me I've done something related to role-playing gaming before you?
No, I've played in it for years, but I never actually went in and learned the macros or any of that. You know, I never messed with the API calls or anything like that. And
like really setting it up and
yeah. I could do the basic stuff and I could do basic macros, but I didn't know how to do scripted variable and variable macros and being able to call.
Are we gonna let him paint it like that?
He said it as long as I've known him, and I just laugh a little bit every time he says it.
Okay,
because
I'm just making sure you weren't doing anything, and I'm like,
yeah,
are we gonna let him keep going?
Your people on your side of the coast call him Mario, so you got no room to talk.
And I call it Mario and macros, so I'm the most right in the room. So
It's Mario Brothers. I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyways, so I have 3 acts because this is actually a game that I'm putting together that's going to run from level 1 to level 20. And I just finished Act 1 last night at about 2 in the morning. That took me about 40 hours to set up Act 1. Act 2 is
the shortest one.
Yeah, Act 2 is about six times the size of Act 1, and Act 3 is about 7 times the size of Act 2. So I'm guessing, including like my, I have to do video and audio editing for this as well. I'm guessing I got about 450 to 500 hours of prep work left to do somewhere there. And somewhere in there I'm supposed to move. So, peanut butter Baileys.
Yeah, chill. Cheers. Everybody take a drink for that one.
Watching Wandavision. That's it. And all I will say, since we obviously are not yet doing the spoiler cast, is I still think last week's episode was one of my favorite things ever done in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I know other people are like, you're way overselling it, but I mean, it's like number 2 on the list for me, with Infinity War Endgame being number 1, because that's all one movie. I don't care what anybody says. That's number 1, and that last week's episode is probably number 2, just for the range of acting and the ebb and flow and the pacing is great. I guess the only thing, because I know you've all watched it, did you enjoy or like the ending?
Dave?
Oh, yeah, I was fine with it. I'm also like not in the camp where like everybody has to have like, you know, some grand theory that they need to figure it out by episode 2 and, you know, that kind of stuff. Like, I don't subscribe to any of that stuff. Like, I'm old and I let the story happen, you know? So I'm just like, let me enjoy the story as people want to tell the story. And I enjoyed it. I seem to enjoy things better that way. So I know a lot of people are upset, you know, because there was a lot of crazy theories out there, and I'm like looking at them. I read a lot of the theories, and I'm like, okay, like I don't see how any of these are really going to happen. But you know, people have fun with it. But I don't get why people are mad when their crazy theories don't happen. So, but also there's still a lot of open-ended stuff. So who knows what's going to happen next? I found myself with some more questions, you know, that I was kind of not expecting to have, you know, at the end of this. But they also they like wrapped it up without wrapping things up completely. So it was a nice kind of mix there.
Staying completely spoiler free, I loved the actor that Paul Bettany said that he had been waiting to work with. Genius. Genius.
Really funny.
Extremely funny.
Yeah. That was pretty good.
Matt?
I really enjoyed it. There were a couple of things I was like, well, okay, not the way I would have gone with it, but it's fine. The overall ending was far more, to what Dave said, open-ended than I was expecting. I thought they were going to, since this is a one and done in terms of a show.
So that's not necessarily true, by the way.
Well, okay, that's what they'd said initially. So going off of that assumption, then if it's a one and done, granted it's going to tie into the larger MCU, so nothing MCU is one and done. It's going to roll into something else. But I was expecting some more storyline tie-up than what did happen. And I had a couple of guesses as to what might happen at the end, and some of them worked out and some of them didn't. But overall, I thought it was really well done. I need to watch it again because the time and format when I watched it was not ideal. So I do need to watch it again and get some more of the full experience. But I thought everyone did a great job. I thought it was well acted. I finally figured out what we're calling Wanda's accent now is just when she goes into her gravelly voice. It's like, okay, that's what we're calling the accent now. Okay, fine. Because, when she in Age of Ultron, she has very heavy Russian accent, girl. And then everything from there, I didn't realize that people were saying, when she talks like this, that's her accent. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, she throws a few vowels a weird way every once in a while. Okay, fine. So now I learned that. Yeah, that's it for me. Like I said, short, sweet. Let's go with Dave.
Cool. I have actually. So I always look at the Switch store on a weekly basis, and there's they're at the point where there's a ton of games coming out every week in the Switch online shop, and I don't recognize anything. And I'm wondering how, is there anything actually good in there? And I started kind of questioning things, and I found a neat article that said it was basically on the one of my favorite genres is the 2D brawler, the 90s era 2D brawler, kind of genre. Streets of Rage 2 is a game that I play regularly. I will do a playthrough of Streets of Rage 2 every couple months, legit. They released Streets of Rage 4 this year, so that was awesome. A couple weeks ago, they re-released the Scott Pilgrim game. That's a really awesome 2D, side-scrolling beat-em-up. So there's kind of a resurgence going on. And I found one that came out that I missed called Mother Russia Bleeds. And I actually, it has a really gruesome kind of style to it, but it's it's done, it's done really well. And I started playing that, and it was just a nice hidden gem in there. Yes.
Yeah. So are you saying that you missed it when it was originally out and just found it now, or are you saying that you did play it originally and you refound it and forgotten about it?
Oh no! I did not. I ignored it when it first came out. I didn't realize it came out. I don't know when it actually came out. It was just kind of it was on a list of 2D brawlers you need to play. Mm-hmm. And I found that I actually, played, pretty much all of them. And this one stuck out. I was just okay, I never heard of that one. So I went and looked it up, and I actually wound up downloading it. And fantastic little game. It is, it is good stuff. So if you're a fan of the 2D brawling genre, they're having a nice little mini resurgence. There's some stuff out there, yes.
Did you pick up the X-Men 4-player local co-op supported 2D brawler when it came out on PS4?
When it came out on PS4? Wait, I think so.
Because that was a year ago? Maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah. But I wasn't sure you'd seen it drop, so I was just checking.
Yeah. I was all over that one.
Okay.
So, that's good stuff. Castle Crashers, another... Whoops. Hold on.
The cat got you.
Dang cats.
That was new.
Always those dang cats.
So yeah, so that's actually pretty cool that there's a little resurgence of that. What else is going on? Animal Crossing. Still playing Animal Crossing. We're in the middle of the Mario month now in Animal Crossing. So there's a warp pipe that you can add to your island where you can literally, put a Mario style warp pipe and like go from like one place to the other, like in one, motion. So it's actually like functional. So that's kind of cool. Then there's, a bunch of, you can have like a Wario outfit, so I'm really happy about that. That game is just routine for me now. Like I play a little bit of it each day, go after a couple things, and it's a good half hour well spent, in there, visit my island, talk to some peeps, and do my thing. So yeah, I'm still, kind of an addict of that game. Mother Russia Bleeds, that. I was playing the Square demo triangle tactics,
yeah.
whatever they're generically calling the thing right now. They try and give you a little bit of the story in there, which is kind of weird. It's just like, kind of just give me the taste of the gameplay. It's a demo. I don't really care about the story in the demo. But I guess they're really trying to show the whole thing.
They did that for
acting.
Octopath Traveler in the demo also. Same thing.
Oh, something? I don't even remember. Yeah, I just bought Octopath. I didn't actually try the demo for it. I forgot that there was a demo for it. But yeah, voice acting throughout the whole thing. I mean, there's a lot of work already done on that. I'm kind of surprised that from playing the demo, I'm surprised it's still that far off. It seems like they have a lot done already.
Except so naming it.
Yeah, well, they're probably just gonna. Why would they? I don't know. What's the? I'm guessing it
makes no sense to me why they would give up a project code name and then put a demo out for it, as opposed to like, this is our upcoming game. Circle of the Sphere Life. Whatever they're gonna name it. Weird Square name.
Like, is it going to be a Final Fantasy Tactics game? Like, what's it? I don't know. I don't understand why they wouldn't just cash in on Final Fantasy Tactics. I mean, it certainly looks good enough. It certainly sounds good enough. It certainly plays good enough. Just make it happen. Who knows? I don't care. Got to play it. It's going to eat up my life. I love those type of games. Square does them really well. That's going to be good. Caught up on WandaVision. Awesome. I shotgunned The Expanse in the past few weeks. And I'm actually caught up. I finished season 5 the other night. That show's awesome. It's so good. I'm actually going to go into the books. That's going to be next on my list after I finish up a couple things. So I'm looking forward to that because, I know the books are going to go farther than the series is going to go. So that's going to be interesting. And I know there's differences and stuff. So I'm looking forward to that.
They're really good.
Yeah, your recommendation, I talked to some other people that, read sci-fi, and they were just like, oh, yeah, you got to read those. So I'm looking forward to that. There's something I saw. I was going through Amazon Prime original stuff last night. And I was just finding some stuff. Did you know they're doing Invincible?
Yeah,
on the last 2 podcasts you've not been on, we've talked about it every single time.
Oh, okay.
What I didn't know they were doing is Jupiter's Legacy. That one took me by surprise.
That also took me by surprise. That's part of the news dump. Yeah.
The trailer for Invincible was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really looking forward to that. I heard nothing about that project, so I'm really looking forward to that. I'm trying to think of what else. There was some other stuff. There's this show Fast Foodies that I'm watching, which is really fun. Mark, you'd probably definitely love it.
I've seen a couple episodes.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's 3 chefs that are just like, it's 3 chefs, and what they do is they come in, there's like a celebrity guest star, like James Vanderbeek comes in, and he's just like, oh, I like In-N-Out burgers. So 3 chefs have to recreate an In-N-Out burger, and then they have to reimagine what they, you know, take from the essence of an In-N-Out burger and make it into their own dish. So you have them doing a fast food recreation for the first round, and then the second round is like them being like super crazy chefs. And it just ends up being this really fun show.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a quick half hour. It's awesome. I haven't seen the last episode, but Resident Alien is another great show that I'm actually in the middle of. It's Resident Alien, right?
Yeah, it is.
I'm like 2-3 weeks behind on AEW, so it's just like, yeah, great.
Oh my God. I forgot to say, I watched AEW, and you can join us on Sunday, because it's on a Sunday this time. It's always Saturdays, except now it's Sunday for this one. Yeah. So Sunday at 4 Pacific, 6 Central, 7 Eastern, we will be doing our live reaction show to AEW Revolution. It looks like it's going to be another 5-hour show, easy. So, you know,
Jeez.
Make sure you join us. Hey, you get your $50 worth or whatever they charge for the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And the funny part, and I know, Matt, I'm sorry, please don't go to sleep on me, talking about wrestling. So, you know that the main event is the exploding barbed wire death match, right?
That's what I just watched last night, was them announcing that was going to be the match.
Okay, so one of the problems that I had with it, with the whole build-up for it, has been that Matt has no idea what a exploding barbed wire death match is. Most American wrestlers have never, or American fans, wrestling fans, have never seen one, because a large company has never done one, because they're insane. And I was like, they need to show the Onita Funk match that was so famous in the 80s, you know, because it took me like, 6.5 months to find the tape from trading and importing to get it, like in the mid 90s. So it was like, you know, I've seen it, but no one else has a clue what a friggin', unless they watch like really bad indie shows where they actually put the safety of the people at risk, which is...
Mark, I have a fun bit of history. I was at an ECW show that actually was pulled from, have you heard about it?
I did, yeah.
I was at that show live.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And at the end, when, you know, the ending happened, the audience just got real quiet, and immediately was just like, refund. Refund.
Yeah.
It was the best. It was like one of the greatest, you know, ECW events to actually be at, just because of the way the crowd was. It was just like, yeah, you guys did not pull this off.
No.
So that was pretty cool.
So my whole problem was that I was saying they needed to show that match, and this week, since you haven't watched it, in the Go Home show, they actually did. They did a video package with both of them talking about it, but then they actually had Onita on talking about the dangers of a match like this, and they showed, you know, the mines exploding and Onita coming off the barbed wire, and, you know, how he's just torn all the way open down his arm. I'm like, okay, somebody listen to me.
Yeah, wow.
So I'm actually super looking forward to this. Lexi is not looking forward to it at all, because she does not like the blood and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, if you thought their match, their hardcore match that was unsanctioned before was something, this is going to be a little bit worse than that. So, yeah, we did our predictions. I'm predicting Mox is going to take some time off to spend time with the new baby, and so Kenny's going to retain, but we'll see. But yeah. We'll start our live reaction on Sunday at 4 and kind of carry it through, so you can actually join us on all of our normal streaming services: Twitch, YouTube, YouNow, and Bigo Live. We'll be on all of them streaming. So join us then. Sorry, and please continue and let us know what you are up to, Matt, because I forgot about the wrestling thing. That was a big chunk.
Were you done, Dave?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Yeah. Lucky for everyone, I've been a very boring boy, so not much to go over. Games-wise, still playing Control. Haven't had a lot of time to put into it, so I don't have any idea how far I am into it, but I'm enjoying it. It's very Yeah, it's good. I had comparisons to make, but then when I think about it, they all kind of fall apart. So, but yeah, it's really good. The people that have played it and are into the types of things we're into, and then say they have no idea what's happening in the story, I don't know what's wrong with them. It's messed up and it's weird, but it's not beyond anything folks like us have watched before. So I don't really get what they're going at, but.
I watched the 20-minute speed run of it.
I have no idea what good a 20-minute speed run would be, since it's a narrative. The 20-minute speed run would skip all of that.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you missed the actual game. Well, you got the game, but you missed the point.
I didn't say I wasn't going to play it. I'm just saying I happened to see that there was a 20-minute speed run and the developers were reacting to it. And I'm like, I wonder how pissed they would be. You know, they spent all this work to build this story and somebody glitches through the ceiling so they can telekinetically float over most of a level. It was fun watching.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that people like doing that. I don't get it personally. The whole concept of speedrunning to me is just why, but I get it. Some people it gives them a good feeling to do. So
you and I are 100% on the same page there, buddy. 100%. It's like
people need hobby. It's like, you know, when I see like people dedicating, you know, that kind of time to, like, you know, speed running, it's just like, dude, there's a lot of games out there to play. I just introduced my son to Ratchet and Clank, and I swear there is a legitimate argument that I have passed that love of that game through DNA to my son. He is 5, and he is taking that game like a natural, and it is freaking me out. But I am very happy. And he's like, he went to bed tonight. He goes, Daddy, we doing anything tomorrow? I was like, well, yeah, we have to go over, like, you know, Papa's house to wish him a happy birthday. And he's just like, yeah, but I want to play that game all day. And I'm like,
yeah,
you are my son. Like,
yes.
I will never deny you. You are good, kid. You know. So, but yeah, he's all over it. So that's pretty cool.
Banner says something. Tony Khan has said that his signing is one of his favorite wrestlers. Oh, so since you didn't see that last episode, Big Show was finally on, and his shirt, by the way, says "No more BS." That's his shirt. No more Big Show. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, actually. But he said that he's announcing the next signee to AEW at the pay-per-view, and that it's a Hall of Fame caliber person.
Yeah.
And that's all we know. And now Banner says that Tony Khan says that it's one of his favorite wrestlers of all time. So I'm wondering if it might be Bully Ray, because we know he's a big ECW fan.
Oh, that would really be big for me.
I'm very torn about it. Like I like Bully Ray as a wrestler. I don't like Bully Ray as a person. But hey, that's me.
Well, because he's the greatest heel ever to exist. Because he's not playing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Matt's gonna die. No more wrestling talk. It's not my fault. Interaction with the fans. He said it.
I was just waiting for the right time to drop an achy breaky heart joke, and it didn't hit. So that was all I had. Yeah. Then the only other gaming stuff has been the Fortnite and Divinity for the streams. So I do need to get into Fortnite though and do a epic quest before the season's over so that I get the stupid last piece of the Mandalorian armor. Or legendary quest. On the TV, Magician Season 5, Mobile Suit Gundam, WandaVision, catching up on The Good Doctor because we're probably going to be cable cutting next month and we need to get that off of the DVR before we do that.
Question for you, because I don't think you answered me via text when I asked you. Did you buy the shanty yesterday that was on Fortnite?
I didn't even turn my PS5 on yesterday.
Fudge, Matt. It's a party-only shanty, sea shanty. And it was just like your Christmas Carol that you love so much. except that it's party only, and there's adding stacking bits. So I was like,
oh man,
that's why I texted. It might still be there. I don't think it might be. I don't know. But
well, I got my computer here. See if I can run Fortnite in the stream at the same time. In case I die, then Resident Alien, also watching that. I think I'm an episode behind on that. And then I'm staying up to date on The Promised Neverland Season 2. And the only thing I want to say about that is the only reason I originally watched The Promised Neverland was because the title song was Touch Off by Overworld, which is quite possibly the greatest J-pop, J-rock song of all time ever. And so going into season 2, knowing that I wasn't going to have that song, I was a little disheartened. But the season 2 song is pretty dang good. Not quite as good, but it's pretty dang good. The other thing is, it's the only time I've ever seen this, but the opening animation actually morphs or changes as the story moves on, as they reveal things in the story. Elements of the intro animation and outro animation change, which I've never seen that before. Maybe an anime has done that before, but I've just never seen it. So I thought that was kind of an interesting touch. So, but yep, that's it. That's all I've been. And then comics. I'm caught up on comics except for this week. So.
Well, that brings us to the news part. Oh, go ahead.
I actually have one real quick thing that's kind of like game and board game related. So I took my son to Target, and he points out that he wanted to get this game. He's like looking at the game shelf, and he's like, well, I want to get that. It's Super Mario Monopoly. And he's like in a heavy Super Mario kick right now. It's like, his favorite thing.
Okay.
And he was like, I want Super Mario Monopoly. I'm like, well, that's probably a bigger kid's game, buddy. So I'm like arguing with him in the store, and he's just like, I want it. And there's a little question block you push, and it plays Mario sound. So he's just like, I got to have that. So I'm like, all right, fine. And then we get home, and he was like, I want to try playing it. I'm like, okay. So I'm reluctant to do this. It's actually kind of like streamlined to the point where my 5-year-old picked it up.
Oh, I was going to say, so you understood the rules.
Nice. Fair, valid. But it actually, like, it's a streamlined version of Monopoly. Instead of, like, the money is either 1 Mario coin or 5 coins. And so it's just, like, 2 things. It's just, like, you give people, like, some 5s and some 1s, basically. Properties are all limited to 2. There's still, like, 2 utilities and everything. They replaced the railroads with something, with this, like, block. And you press the block and something happens. You either like owe money or whatever. And so they kind of streamlined it a little bit. He picked up on it. And as a 5-year-old, totally beat me the first round. Nice. Nice. And I'm just like, nice. So that's kind of a neat, especially if you have, anybody that has like kids or anything. The Mario Monopoly is actually really good pickup. And it's also high quality. Like the pieces are like, metal and everything like that, just like normal Monopoly. So it's good stuff. So I do want to, again, especially since you weren't here for the PSA last time we talked about it, Dave, I am again going to say, since I did spend a little more time in it, I forgot it in my thing because I forgot about it until you mentioned this. If you like board games and want to play board games with friends using a computer, I don't know how they haven't been sued out of existence, but Tabletop Simulator is the way for you to go. Because everyone has programmed every board game in existence into Tabletop Simulator. And it's not even named something different. If you're looking for time stories, it's time stories in Tabletop Simulator. If you're looking for Monopoly, it's Monopoly in Tabletop Simulator. If you're looking for Kingdom Death Monster, it's Kingdom Death Monster in Tabletop Simulator. It's like, I don't know how, but, don't question it. Just, it's $20. So if you like board games and want to play with other people online or even in your own home, I highly recommend it. Period.
So aren't the games extra, though? Or it's not all included in that 20, is it?
No, it's all free, man. That's what I'm saying. It's like they're using the Steam Community Workshop to, somebody's like, oh, I wish they had this game. And then somebody goes, oh, I made that 6 months ago. Here's all of it. Using the original source images and files and stuff.
Does it enforce rules, or do you have to enforce the rules yourself?
So the rules are all, it depends, is the short answer, but most of them are all done by macros.
We're really going to let this go?
Yes,
It's
macros.
First of all, you said he's been doing this all this time. Why is this the first time I'm hearing this?
I don't know, because like I've said macros my entire life.
Like, this is not, like, we're not, this is not the first show we're doing together.
No.
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 But it might be the first one where he said it, or you just ignored it.
I've never heard him say this. And this has been going on for probably at least, like, what, 3-4 months now?
What?
That I've been doing this with you guys?
Shit.
Yeah,
Shoot.
4, 5.
Shoot.
Yeah, a couple days, few at the most.
Yeah, it's been a few weeks, right? Okay, go continue. We got news.
Yeah, we got a lot of news. So, let's get the news. So, hey, you guys remember that card game that Valve was going to rule the world with called Artifact?
Nah.
Nope.
Yeah. Well, that's good because they stopped doing updates to it and they made it free to play instead.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. I thought you said news, dude.
Well, I mean, I was actually excited about it once upon a time. Until I got my hands on it, and then it sucked hardcore, and I was like, no, this is dumb.
I haven't drank in a while. That second whiskey's hitting already, by the way. Just let you know. It was about to get fun.
Who's getting a PS5 now?
Thank God you can't get one. I feel so much guilt because I see like people on Facebook that are like still trying to get them for their kids and stuff, and I'm just like, I'm posting a picture of like my kid playing
Kid with a
you know.
PS5 controller, and somebody's calling you out on having a PS5.
Yeah,
That was
and it's just like, yeah, he's not even playing a PS5 game. This is a PS4 game. Woo!
I definitely don't have two of them.
Wow, really? Nice. Like that you're actively using? Like you're not even...
Yeah, the second one was a birthday present for Lexi.
That's pimp, dude.
And I didn't even, like, it was almost the exact same, the exact same way we got it the first time. I was just dinking around on the Amazon website, and I happened to go to the PS5 listing, and the page did not load, and it said add to cart. And I'm like, wait, what? And I like clicked it and it added it to the cart, and I'm like, hey, did you really want that PS5 for your birthday? And she's like, yes. And I'm like,
nice.
And then I've tried to help you get one like 3 times since then, Matt, and nothing. I can't get one. I'm sorry. I'll keep looking.
No, that's okay. Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, Mitchell wants one. We just can't seem to tie it down.
Hey, you know something? He's old enough. He can get it on. He can get it.
Well, he's paying for it.
No, I'm saying, but he's got like access to stuff. He knows how to do stuff. Sink or swim. I've been buying my own console since I was 15.
Hey,
I want to hear this.
This is good news. The PS2 is officially 21 years old yesterday.
Can we
Wait.
not?
You said.
Somebody.
There's a natural segue from what you were saying.
Well, no, it was actually because this is the second time today I've had to hear this, because somebody was like talking about when I posted a picture of my kid playing Ratchet and Clank, and somebody reached out to me and said like, "Oh, that's my favorite game. I love that game," and I was just like, "Yeah." And, we just started like talking about it, and I was just like, "Oh yeah, I interviewed the developers one time," and they're like, "Oh, when was that?" And I had to go to the Internet Archive to find it because the website's no longer here. And they're like, "Oh, when was this?" And I was like, "Oh, it was like 2003." And they're like, "Oh, that was a long time ago." And I was just like, "Yeah, we don't need to mention that." But yeah, it was PS2 era when I did that interview with them, and that was a long time ago at this point.
in internet years, it's a couple eras ago.
Yeah, you know, it's bothersome how long ago that was.
So, a news-related question for you, Dave, is if this Nintendo Switch
of course I will. Don't
with
even ask
OLED and 4K output comes out, will you be buying it?
Come on, dude. You know the answer to that.
Well, I don't know. That's a little too modern for you.
That's what I was.
I will still fire up the original Vita just to marvel at that screen. It is beautiful as a work of art. That is the greatest handheld ever made that nobody supported. I am so annoyed at that to this day. So if they make a Switch with that screen, I mean, come on.
I mean, the battery's only going to last for, 12 minutes, but...
What are you talking about? OLEDs are even better on battery.
I'm just teasing.
I know you are. Yeah, you know I'm going to buy that. Come on.
Okay.
That's not
it was a real question.
How hot is that thing going to get?
Dude,
it's Nintendo. Like they'll figure out a way to make it work.
Look, you're acting like I care. I'm buying it.
I have no fingerprints left. I don't care.
All right, who's got one?
On fire. I don't care.
Who's got one? Let's go around the room. Who's got one?
I got nothing. You just gotta keep going off the list.
Just go.
Diablo 2 re-released, being announced, and you'll be able to import your save data from the original game.
How's that gonna work?
That's the first question I had is like, I don't even know where the computer that I played Diablo 2 on is anymore.
Someone's got some hardcore archiving skills if they've still got their original Diablo 2 saves.
I mean, I don't think Battle.net had save files, I don't think. Cloud saving. So, yeah. Well, this
news, but for Dave's edification, Mother Russia bleeds. Seriously, officer, I haven't had nothing to drink tonight. Mother Russia Bleeds came out in September of 2016.
Mother Blusher.
Whoa,
Mother
wait.
Blusher.
And not on the Switch. It had to come out later on the Switch.
I don't know. Its original release date was September 5th, 2016.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that was...
I don't know. I'm looking.
So, also not news, but for Dave's edification, Hulu is adding Felicity, My So-Called Life, and Blossom to its platform next week.
Wait, Felicity? All right, first of all, it's just hilarious. All right, I used to watch Felicity. All right, full disclosure.
I'm aware.
Who didn't?
It's a great show. It was a great show.
I actually never watched it.
Oh, wow.
I have no idea what it is, but yeah.
I was literally just laughing because like it was mentioned on the show we were watching. My wife and I were watching This Is Us. We were catching up on that, and they mentioned Felicity on there, and it is one of those shows that has this cultural resonance and staying power that like people keep weaving it in there as jokes. Like everybody watched it, and a lot of people really did watch that show. And it's just like funny how like, and it weaves its way into like current like shows and everything of like people name dropping the show, and it's like a constant thing. So it has this like, it's a show that has this odd cultural relevance that like people don't admit to, but most people watch. It's a very fascinating.
It's a very Gen X thing, and if Gen X is your target, yeah.
And speaking of other odd cultural reference things, there's a new horror movie coming out called Slacks with 2 X's that stars a pair of jeans that come alive and try and kill people.
Sure.
I
have it would be better if it was XX Slacks XX. That would have made more sense.
I will freely admit that I have watched a lot of these odd horror movies. I've watched Rubber. I've watched, what's that one called? Is it called Teeth? I think it's just called Teeth. about
How about
the
the-
vagina with teeth.
How about the Lego Winnie the Pooh set coming next month?
Totally buying it.
That's what I thought.
I had missed that was a thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It literally just announced yesterday, or the
Okay,
day
well, that-
before. I think the day before was a teaser. Then yesterday was the full reveal of it. So yeah, that's happening.
For anyone who says that microtransactions are not a business model that works, Genshin Impact made $874 million in its first 5 months from microtransactions.
Who?
Genshin Impact.
Gesundheit. Who?
It is the Zelda game, the Zelda Breath of the Wild MMO
Wait.
game.
It's that fake Zelda game?
Yep.
Yes.
They made almost $1 million on microtransactions?
No, almost $1 billion on microtransaction in the first 5 months.
Yeah, hi, that's what I meant to say, but I'm drunk. They made almost $1 billion?
874 million in 5
On the
months,
fake Zelda game.
Yep.
which is actually pretty fun. Not gonna lie.
Wrong business. I am so messed up my life choices.
Yep.
And Mother Russia Bleeds came onto the Switch in November of 2018.
Oh,
still
so
a couple of years
been
ago.
there for 2 years. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm still way behind on that. I'm still freaked out over the Switch being out as long as it has been.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't seem like it's that old.
It doesn't seem like it's that old, but she's long in the tooth already.
Oh, this is one where you're both gonna just shake your heads at me, but I'm shaking my heads at them. So that game Marvel Avengers, right?
Yeah.
So word on the street is they may be going free to play. And as such, part of the word on the street is that they are intentionally slowing down XP gains to make it more grindy. So you're going to eventually have to pay to win. I'm like, nope, I'm done. So done. So done.
So for the 5 people left playing, like, what do they think is going to happen? Like, nobody's playing it. Is anybody playing it now? Nobody's playing it.
I mean, it still has, it has a dedicated fan base, but it's much smaller than the original launch
Dedicated
window.
fan base of like 5 people. Like, let's be honest here.
It's probably more than 5.
6?
I mean, in a related thread, Anthem is shutting down. Well, they're not shutting down, but they are no longer doing any more development, so I'm expecting the shutdown notification to come at any time, which is truly sad because that game had a really fun gameplay loop. They just never did enough with the gear and storyline to make it worth playing more than once. So, everyone who saw that coming... Oh, wait, there is no one who didn't see that coming. So, yeah.
I do have something I can share.
Go for it.
PlayStation this month has 5 games for you if you're a PS Plus, and 1 if you have no PS Plus. For the PS Plus games for whatever month it is, we're in March, you can get Final Fantasy VII Remake for the PS4, which unfortunately does not qualify you for the PS5 update when that launches. But Final Fantasy IV Remake on PS4 looks perfectly fine. The only thing you'd be missing out on is the episode Yuki, which I'm sure will be bundled in with some other package later if you're willing to wait.
I don't know. This is an outrage. I am outraged.
Have you been triggered?
I don't know. People are angry about it. I don't know why. It's a free game.
The timing is unfortunate because they had just announced that if you had the PS4 version, you get the PS5 update for free minus the episode Yuffie. Said that right.
So why are people so angry about the free version not doing it? It's just like, you're getting it for free. Shut up.
Yeah.
I think, and this is just my own conjecture, but I do believe it's because of how the message was delivered. They should have been explicit with that from the get-go, rather than making you think that you are going to get the PS5 version for free from the get-go, because that's sure what it sounded like. Until they came back and said, oh, wait, we actually meant that, you're going to get it for free, but then you won't get the PS5 version for free. Oh, sorry. You know, they should have just said that from the beginning. And I don't know if that's Sony's fault or Square Enix's fault or both their faults. Who knows? Who knows?
Communication is hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that they announced so close together, I think, is really the main thing that got people. If it had been, you know, a week apart, it probably wouldn't have been as big of a deal. But the other 3 games, you get Remnant from the Ashes, which, Mark, I know you poured a fair number of hours into.
Mm-hmm. It's a good game.
I have not, but and then Maquette is a PS5 title for this month. The PS5 there is a PS4 version, but the PS Plus is only for the PS5. It's a MC Escher styled game. I haven't fired it up. I really don't know anything about it beyond that.
I did set that up. I'm interested in that.
All right, and then Farpoint, which is a PSVR game, a PSVR first-person shooter, which was touted much with the gun accessory, which I don't have, so I'm kind of reluctant to fire it up, but I will probably do that eventually. And then for everyone, we're doing the... Oh, yes, and you also can still download, if you have PS Plus, you can still download Destruction All-Stars for free until April.
Oh, I did pick that up.
I picked it up. I installed it. I haven't fired it up yet.
I played it with my son. Loved it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was. I don't think he was. I mean, I don't know how legitimate he was playing it. He was just like running around and crashing into stuff. But that's kind of the game, right?
Yeah, mostly.
Sorry. So he's playing it.
And then for Sony's Play at Home for this year, which is something they initiated last year with the onset of COVID and all the quarantines, you have another opportunity to have a copy of Ratchet & Clank, the 2016 remake, for your ownership. And this one is not like the other Plus things. It's no Plus required. You buy it for free, and then you've got it forever. PS5 owners already have it as part of the PS Plus collection. Folks like Dave and myself already have it because we bought it when it launched. So, and I don't think this is the first time that particular game's been free. I think it's been a part of Plus before.
It has.
But it was part of Plus before. I actually downloaded on my PS5 from the PS5 collection, for the early adopters, and that's the version that I have, my son playing for the first time on the PS5, and I mean it's Ratchet & Clank. It's distilled Ratchet & Clank. It's like a retelling of the first game, kind of tying into the movie, told from Quark's perspective. I really love it. I love the quirkiness of it, because they kind of like play on like jokes and everything for it, but it has like the refined gameplay over the years, but the reimagined original game. So it's kind of like a reintroduction of the characters for it. It's literally perfect for my son, which I'm really excited about, and he like really gravitated toward it. It's Insomniac's my favorite developer. If you've ignored the series up until this point, don't ignore it any longer. This game needs to be played by everybody, and this is the time for everybody to do it.
I love Quark. He's my favorite character, especially when he quotes the rules of acquisition. That's the best.
Quark is the best. I used him as like an internet avatar for years.
Very long time. Yeah.
It was a long time.
Banner says
again, technology.
Banner says he owns it as well.
Nice.
I forgot to ask you, Matt. Did you hear Joe cry out in pain on March 3rd?
I don't think so. Why?
Yeah, because Alamo Drafthouse filed for Chapter 11.
I did, actually, yes.
I also shared in that cry of pain because it is my favorite chain of movie theaters / experiences ever. But while they are selling all of their assets to a investment group, they are able to remain in business, and they are forecasting that things will pick up by the end of the year. But still, it just like the fact that it could potentially go out of business, no thank you, that's horrible.
I think there are some locations that are shutting down. Yeah. Unless that's changed too, so yeah.
That was the one thing I was mad about moving away from my house when I lived in PA. I lived right around the corner from a movie tavern, which is like the other company doing the same thing. And I loved that they had a whiskey button on your movie seat where you get to
Whiskey me.
Yeah, where you're like,
that seems like a bad idea.
I know it does, but like I'm watching. Like I remember me and my friends took me to go see whatchamacallit, Princess Bride. We saw Princess Bride at it, and I just kept hitting the whiskey button, while watching Princess Bride. So it was like one of the greatest days of my life.
Valheim reaches 5 million copies sold in 4 weeks. The game is actually really fun, and it's only $20. So if you've got a PC, I highly recommend you pick it up. The Switch is 4 years old today. Or no, two days ago. 2 days ago. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Seems weird to me.
I did grab the games with gold for March. Since I did the PlayStation, I figure I should be equitable. And then obviously I don't do Epic, but Epic's got new free games every week. So
yep. I don't know why you don't. You really should, because it's free. I mean, it's literally like there's no drawback.
I mean, I get them. I just don't report on them. But I have enough Epic games on the Epic Store to like last me the rest of my life. Like I would never need to buy another game again just with the Epic Store, and that's only playing the good ones because there's some garbage in there too. So it's insane.
There's no such thing as a garbage game. Only garbage players. What?
No, there's garbage games.
There's garbage. Just totally garbage games. I am lying. Don't let me get away with that.
So I wasn't going to let you get away with that one.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the Dungeons and Dragons movie for a minute, because this is a thing.
I didn't get the March games out yet. Hold on.
My bad.
There was actually news there. So
I'm sorry. I didn't get that part. My bad.
You should be sorry.
Dave's in the mode. All right, so March's Games with Gold is one of those months where I really feel sorry for the Xbox players because there's not a lot here. There's something that would make some people happy, but it's pretty rough. Warface Breakout is available for the entire month of March.
What?
Vicious Attack Llama Apocalypse is available from March 16th to April 15th.
What?
Here's the one Dave would like. Metal Slug 3 is available from March 1 to March 15.
What? What?
I suck at Metal Slug, but I understand they're fun games.
You know what Metal Slug is. Don't even try.
And then Port Royale 3, which, is like the fourth of that style of game you would try to play if you were actually going to play that game. But anyway, is available from March 16th to March 31st. So it's a little rough this month for the Xbox folks, but hopefully they find something in there that they can enjoy, or at least download them and get them for free, and make sure that Microsoft's money is spent on something that they now have access to. Especially since Xbox Live games you get to or games with gold you get to keep even if you stop your gold subscription. So. Okay, now you can go talk about Final Fantasy movies, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, before I do that, though, Banner says Princess Bride is my favorite action movie in which the wife argues it is a chick flick. Lol.
It's everything.
Yeah, it's a genre bender, is what it is.
It is a special movie. It has everything. It has sports. It has romance. It's the speech.
What do you got to do? The Peter Falk quote from the beginning, where he lists off everything that's in the show book. Yeah, exactly.
There's a book that I think Carriel's actually wrote that I read. That just goes into all the special things about the movie. It just says all this behind the scenes stuff about it, and it really
the level of effort Andre the Giant put into that role. I mean, dude,
it is just a really special movie, and I cringe anytime anybody says they're gonna remake Princess Bride. Like, no, leave it be. It is just a special thing that just needs to exist.
I don't know. If Fred Savage was playing the role of the grandfather, I'd be all right with it.
No, but there's so much other stuff that just goes into that just like...
So the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Dungeons and Dragons movie.
You mean you put down your rock and I'll put down my sword and we'll kill each other like civilized humans?
Yeah. So I don't know. So there's no details about it, right? So we don't know anything about what the story's like. I mean, every time I try and conceptualize a good Dungeons and Dragons movie, the only thing I can come up with is the cartoon.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I just I
that
don't
movie in like the late 90s. There was a movie, didn't it?
Yeah.
Started like,
yeah, no, it was like one of the Wayans brothers and something. Yeah. No, let's not talk about that. So
wait, that really happened. Oh,
yes, that really happened. You weren't
I forgot about that.
You weren't alcoholic dreaming it.
Yeah, that wasn't like a Shazam thing.
No, that was a real thing. But we won't.
People are still saying that happened, and it's just like people need to stop.
Chris Pine is in it. Michelle Rodriguez is in it. Justice Smith, which was the girl from Detective Pikachu, and Regé-Jean Page from Bridgerton, I guess. And it's being directed and written by the person who wrote Spider-Man: Homecoming and the Flash.
Positive.
Yeah, and the Flash movie. So they announced the BBEG, the big bad for the campaign, and it's Hugh Grant. So I'm like, this all sounds good.
Man.
I know, that's why I'm like, this all sounds really positive. But I'm really worried about that storyline. I don't know how they're going to actually translate that, but hey, you know what? We'll see.
So time for a query of a Mr. Mark, and you can explain this maybe, and maybe other people have experienced this too. But I primarily play Fortnite on the PS5.
Yes,
right. That is the platform of choice for me to go to play Fortnite. I finally had to update on my PC. It finally launched. The shanty is still in there, and it is 500 V-Bucks.
Yeah.
On my PS5, I have 2,800 V-Bucks, but on the computer, I only have 400.
That's because you didn't link your accounts.
I didn't link my accounts.
Either you didn't link.
What does that mean?
You didn't link your PS5 account to your Epic account, or you didn't. Yeah, that I would think you didn't link your PS5 to your Epic account.
So how does somebody link an account?
I don't. Well, you wouldn't do it on your computer. You would do it on the PS5.
Son of a rabid monkey butt! Okay, fine.
Yeah. But you need to get that shanty. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's still there, so if I can get off of this...
Banner says D&D with Marlon Wayans was a good movie. I think you have a very low bar, my friend. Very low bar.
Hey, you know something?
It was okay, but it wasn't like... It wasn't good.
It's kind of like, when you don't have anything, it's just like, okay, it's something. It's just like, when, Timothy Zahn was talking about hot chocolate in Star Wars books, we were like, okay. That still bothers me to this day.
Didn't he come up with a coffee allegory too?
Probably. I don't know. But I just remember he was just like, there's like hot chocolate existed in Star Wars. I'm just like, F you, man. Come on. Just don't, yes, I know. We all love hot chocolate. It's great. But just stop.
PlayStation Store is doing away with renting.
Slog, by the way.
PlayStation Store is doing away with renting and buying of TV shows and movies. So...
Yep.
Nobody knows what that means for those of us that have bought movies.
You'll still be able to access your content. So
for now,
eventually,
nobody actually did that, which is the problem. But how does Sony stop it?
I own 17 things on there.
Oh Jesus, dude! How does Sony seriously not? How do they not?
They're bad at highlighting it. They never really tied it in.
How did they not? How?
How it should have always been a part of Plus. You should have had a free or cheap rental every month or purchase every once in a while.
They should have been like bundling that thing into like a Netflix killer from the beginning. You know, and even tie it into like, you know, music thing. Like Sony has like a total portal opportunity there for like an entertainment nexus, and they're just not doing it. And they never have, and they never will, because they haven't. And I don't get it.
They're kind of dumb.
They are dumb. They're like, nobody talks to each other there. It's just like there's the video game division. They're like, okay, you guys make all the money for us. We're going to just F up everything over here.
That sounds about right.
I'm buying vinyl a lot lately, too.
Aliens Fireteam was announced to bring xenomorphs to the survival shooter genre.
Can I just say having xenomorphs in Fortnite is really weird because they're not, you know, they look good, but it's just like it's that whole thing like the Flash can't run fast, you know.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is infinitely delayed because they changed developers, which means that that's no good because that's basically them starting over from scratch.
Hey, it worked out for Final Fantasy VII Remake at least. But
yeah, that's true, but yeah. Hero Forge adds customizable wheelchairs for minis. I thought that was cool.
That's interesting. Did a really bad job of tracking who's this one.
Yeah, and there's so much of it. I'm trying to wade through all the the Borderlands movie casts Avengers Infinity War Gamora as a child as Tiny Tina. Need for Speed was delayed, and Criterion was taken off the project so that they could help with Battlefield 6.
Interesting. Does that mean Battlefield 6 is going to have a higher...
A bunch of cars?
I mean, our Battlefield's always has vehicle stuff, but yeah. Smash Brothers got new DLC characters.
Yep.
Mitchell was playing with those last night.
Banner says he owns 10 movies and anime through PS Store.
I think the only thing I own on PS Store is the 2 seasons of Powers.
I thought they were free.
They were, but you still had to buy them. What did you do? Do we want to talk about the PSVR games that Sony announced? Was that 2 days ago? They announced a bunch.
Believe it or not, I did not get to watch any of that stream, so I have no idea what they announced. So please enlighten me.
Hold on a second.
Talk about something else while I bring it up.
Yes, I need to take a step back, actually. So, are they doing a new PSVR for the PS5?
So, to my
going to be like
knowledge,
a year off still?
it's still a year off. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm still going to wait because I'm not going to bother getting on that, and I'm just going to hope that it still is backwards compatible for Res. It's basically what I'm hoping for. Because that's the one PSVR game I own, and I never actually got the PSVR. But I still want to play Res, so I'm hoping it's backwards compatible for at least Res.
And I will still stand by my review that the PSVR has the most comfortable headset out of all of them.
It does. It really does.
Even though it is simultaneously at the same time the heaviest.
Yep. I haven't done the Facebook one. The one that doesn't have.
Yeah, it's very similar. It's very similar to the vibes.
Okay, so first off, they announced for these are all PS4. I guess obviously because PSVR is primarily PS4. Doom 3 VR edition. So if you ever wanted to play Doom 3, the old one, not a new one, not a new Doom 3, the old one, but in VR, You will now be able to play Doom 3 in VR.
That seems like a cool idea, actually.
I have the VR game for the Doom reboot-ish thing, whatever that was. I played it for like 5 minutes, and I was going to go back to it, and I never did. So, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty intense. But again, a lot of the problems with the ones that I saw on this is they all seem to involve a lot of motion, and motion in VR and I do not get along. So unless it's done really, really, really well, that could present a problem. Like the Doom VR for the 2016 game is completely different from the 2016 game. So anyway, there's a PSVR survival game called Song in the Smoke. It's basically what you would expect for a survival game. You know, you go out, you collect resources, you build stuff, and then eventually you got to fight stuff because, you know, that's how survival games work. I have not actually watched the trailer for this one, so I don't know anything about it. But the next one they announced was action adventure game called Fracked. I'll pull up the details on that one.
Is Mark Cerny the developer?
Don't think so. Fracked seamlessly combines fast-paced one-to-one run-and-cover gunplay with exhilarating free-running, skiing, and climbing that has never before been seen in VR. That sounds like a puke fest. That's probably why I didn't watch the trailer on this one.
Yeah, that's not something I'm interested in at all. You know what I am interested in?
Alcohol?
Alcohol?
No.
Alcohol?
No. Playing Rez in VR.
That also sounds like a puke fest.
It's not so bad because you're like suspended in one spot,
yeah,
and the world goes past you. It's not as bad.
That's literally a perfect thing. Has anybody played the Tetris
Effect in VR? Yes, I have.
Thank you.
It's very good. I highly recommend it.
It is very good. Yeah, that is the one thing that makes me want to really just kind of like buy it now.
It's like playing. Well, I mean, it's laser focus. You just laser focus because it's all you can see in the world,
except for the whales and everything.
Yeah, you can see. Yeah, but you're pretty laser focused in.
Yeah,
I prefer
something I'm cool with that. Would that just be?
It's pretty intense. I will say that.
Were there any others?
Probably. Yes, there's 2 more.
Okay.
I Expect You to Die 2, The Spy and the Liar. I think you've played I Expect You to Die. Have you not, Mark?
I have, and it is fun. So
there's a sequel to that coming out. I have not played it, but it is one of the ones that seemed more intriguing to me. And then there is a JRPG. Wow, I am not that drunk, I swear. JRPG-inspired MMO called Zenith coming to PSVR, in which it appears your main mode of transportation is flight. So, I don't know. In a VR MMO, I'm waiting for some evil genius to trap everybody inside it, and you die if you try to leave the game, and if you die in the game, you really die. Oh, wait, that's the plot of
Sword Art.
Yeah, that one anime.
Banner's favorite.
Yes. Sword Art. There you go. Man, brain fart for a second. And then the creators of Arizona Sunshine are bringing a co-op FPS action game to this thing called After the Fall.
Nice.
So that one also seems interesting because again, it's basically the stand there and shoot zombies and then teleport somewhere and shoot zombies and teleport somewhere else and shoot zombies. So that one does also look interesting. And then the news with the new PSVR headset coming out, it will also be coming out with a next generation controller. So we will finally get to retire the way asked too much of PlayStation Move controllers. Those things. It's impressive that they can do as much as they can with those things because they've been asked to haul a heavy load.
That's kind of like my main thing is like, do I still need, because like I have them buried somewhere, and they're from like the PS3 era.
Yep.
And
when you were going to play Wonder Book in your Harry Potter Wonder Book game.
Oh Jesus, that's right.
What's up, Blacksmith? Thanks for the likes. How are you doing this fine evening?
Hey,
what did I end up doing with those PS Move controllers? I was like, it was so embarrassing how little
Mine are right there because we still use them to play Beat Saber, which they work remarkably well for.
Yes. So also, quick side note, Beat Saber is getting co-op mode. I don't know when that's coming to consoles, but I believe it's relatively soon. So just FYI.
Okay.
Also, PS5 will reportedly add internal storage space availability this summer. So the internal bay that is currently not being used for anything is currently on lockdown, but apparently by a firmware update, they will allow us to actually install an internal SSD to increase our amount of storage. Early reports say that is happening this summer. They announced Pokemon.
Has anybody popped up in their side and checked that dust vent? Because I think I'm going to do that this weekend.
No, let me know what you find.
Check if that dust trap works. Yeah.
Yeah, let me know what you find. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl were announced.
Oh yeah.
Because we need more remakes of the Pokemon games.
You shut your dirty whore mouth.
So
we do need that. No, I'm sorry. That is brilliant. Did you see
it's Brilliant Diamond.
It is. Did you see those things? They look great. Everybody's complaining. People are complaining. They're like, oh, they look too like chibi or anything like that. Like, it's a remake of that era. Like, it's supposed to look like that, and it looks awesome.
I don't care because the only game that's important is coming out soon, and that is Pokemon Snap.
Thank you.
What about the open world Pokemon game?
Wait, hold on.
Don't care.
Can we take a step back? Are me and Mark agreeing on stuff? Or is this just me being like a little bit, or is this just like both Mark and I being drunk and being happy?
I am not drunk.
Just ride the wave, dude. Just ride the wave.
Yeah.
But yes, I am overly excited about the Pokemon Snap coming out. And that open world one actually looks, I'm a little bit like, the trailer of it looks like there's a little bit like, it's a little empty. So I'm hoping there's a lot more coming, for it, but it kind of has that like Breath of the Wild look, but like you throw Pokeballs around.
For $2.99, you too can have a Charmander.
Right, which I'm fine, which I'm like overall kind of fine with, but I don't want it to have it. I don't want it to be like a microtransaction thing.
Gotta financially collect them all.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, I want it to be like a game. Like, look, I'll give you my 60, 70. I'll give you $70. I'll give you $70 for that. But let me just have like the full game.
I love your sentiment, Blacksmith, but we will never get an open world Pokemon RPG for PC or Mac. It's never going to happen. Now, if you get an emulator, a Nintendo emulator for PC or Mac, you'll be able to do that. But yeah, no, probably never going to happen, sadly. So, as you guys know, we normally only cover news that affects individuals who might be thinking about buying something, etc. We don't really get into a lot of the politics news and stuff, but there's an interesting thing because a lot of people are confused between a developer and a publisher and what the difference is between those two things. And there is a developer is the person who codes the game, and the publisher is the person that pays to market and sell the game. And usually...
And they may have an investment in the developer.
Yes, usually, and that's exactly... Yeah, usually they have some kind of investment. If not in the developer, but then in the returns on the game. Right. If we sell a game for $15.95, then we're going to get $5 of every copy sold, etc. And they put up the money for the marketing and then recoup it on number of sales sold, number of units sold. So, The Sinking City is a Cthulhu Lovecraftian RPG that is based on the Call of Cthulhu tabletop board game. And the game was developed by Frogwares and published by Nacon. Nacon, by the way, the publisher of the excellent Werewolf the Apocalypse, Blood-stained, whatever it is, Bloodborne, Blood, don't play that game. Short answer.
4 out of 10.
Yeah. And
pretty okay game.
Yeah, no, it was not great. Anyways, so I guess Frogware... So according to the developer, the publisher did some shady stuff. And to protest, they removed their games from all the services because they didn't want the publisher to make money on them, which may invalidate agreements. Who knows? We don't see any of that stuff. Well, apparently the publisher hacked the game and put it back up on the services like Steam and whatnot. And then the developer is saying, hey, this is not our game, it's been hacked, and here's all the ways you can tell it's been hacked. You should not buy it or download it if you actually want to support us. And then eventually Steam took it off. So they're in this huge legal embroilment, and it's you know, it doesn't make anyone look good. And this is
riveting.
It is. It's actually been developing over like the last couple months, and every time there's something new on it, I'm like, what's going to happen now? And I get my popcorn and I'm like, oh. Because it is actually kind of crazy that someone is airing their disagreements in the public forum like this. It's not a good look for either of them. I definitely would not want to have a game published with Nacon now, and I definitely would not want to publish a game for Frogwares, because they might pull something like this on me too. But then again, you know, I don't know what Nacon did to them initially to make them upset in the first place. So it's kind of crazy.
It's kind of weird that the developer actually has the rights to pull it, because the publisher is the one who has the agreement with the platforms.
Generally.
Yeah,
that's
weird,
what
right?
makes me think, like, what's going on here? Did Nacon just like out and out do something horribly shady? I don't know, but it's something that I will keep watching and keep an eye on. But man, it's not something we would normally cover, but it's interesting because I have a feeling that sooner or later somebody's going to make some kind of ruling on it, and then that will form future relations between publishers and developers. Oh yeah, hey Dave.
Yes.
How's your Google Stadia?
I actually came to my senses and canceled it before it came out, remember?
Well, that's funny. You and Google have two things in common, because they also canceled their Stadia.
I know. I'm so thankful for that, because I remember like a couple, like probably like a month before it came out, I was like, what am I doing?
Well, when it was originally announced, we all pre-ordered it because we were all excited, because they sold it as something it was not. They sold it as the Netflix of games, and it most definitely was not that.
Right.
And as soon as they said,
it was really upsetting.
As soon as they said, by the way, it's you're going to have to pay for every game, we were all like, cancel, cancel, cancel across the board.
Yeah,
so
that's not the point. Like that. I feel like I'm usually like a pretty jaded person, and I'm pretty skeptical of everything. So I'm usually reading everything pretty carefully. But when that thing was announced, like, they really made it seem like that, right?
They did. There was no small print that said anything to the contrary. It was later that they came out and said, oh, by the way.
Yeah, so it's just like, no, that's not exactly what I want. That's like pretty much the opposite of what I want. I'm going to cancel this at this point, because I don't care if you're going to give me a blue controller.
You blacksmith, I don't think Stadia was a load of BS. What I think it was a combination of different things. I thought the technology with the controller hooking directly to the, being able to hook directly through the internet to the server that you're playing it on, great. But when you look at the internet statistics for most of America does not have an internet access speed high enough to support playing the games in a way that would be conducive to playing things like shooters and stuff online. And the other side of that is most people have data caps on their internet. And just downloading a singular game could be enough to hit your data caps, depending on what provider you're on. So, Banner says, I'm waiting for Amazon's MMO. Keep waiting, Banner. Because I don't know when New World's going to launch, if ever. And that place is not having a good PR moment right now also. So,
although that one, I mean, that whole thing is a little bit more, I would have fallen into the camp of, I would have never seen that till it was too late. I would have 100% not seen that. So I can empathize with the marketing department there. Now, granted, they're supposed to be more on top of their game, but I can empathize with that one.
Wait, what do you mean? Wait, because they closed down, like Amazon closed. I remember when Amazon closed down their, like, you know, development staff, and we were like,
well, I was talking about their new icon issue thing.
Oh, that
happened.
I don't even understand that. Like, I'm like, you know, German and like afraid to like look at my family tree, and I didn't even see it.
I don't know what Mark was talking about because he's staring into the darkness like he has no idea what either of us.
I have no idea what either of you are talking about. Not a single thing.
Apparently, they had to change their icon on their application because it kind of like evoked a Hitler mustache.
So yeah, exactly. So they changed it to a brown box with the smile on the side, and then a piece of blue tape at the top. And the tape had the little jaggies like it
wait, we're talking about all of Amazon with the arrow, or just the game studio?
No, we're talking about Amazon.
Oh, I did not know anything about that.
Neither did I. This is all news to me too.
They had a piece of tape on the box that was, you know, about that wide and about that tall, and it had little jaggies at the bottom because it was like, you know, the blade.
Yeah.
And people thought that looked like a Hitler stash with a smile on it.
Wow.
And so they actually had to change the icon so that the corner of the tape is ripped off now, so that it's not a perfect rectangle, and I don't think it has the jaggies on it.
Exactly. And it looked nothing like that. I have no idea what they were going for.
Somebody got triggered.
Right. And the thing is, like, you know, and this is like coming from me. Like, my last name is Bach. I'm like all Pennsylvania Dutch. Like, this is like, I do not look in my family tree because I know it probably goes back to places I don't want it to go. So this is not something I actively look for. Like, you know, I don't want to sit there and find out that I have, like, you know, oh, my family's actually from Brazil, you know. So anybody watch Archer? No. Okay.
I got it anyways.
Thank you.
So Dave.
Yes.
You like Terminator, right?
I do actually. Thank you for noticing that.
And you like anime, right?
I have been known.
So what would you think if I told you there's a Terminator anime coming into Netflix?
I would probably squeal a little bit. Well, is that really happening?
That is really happening.
Oh, wait, really?
Yep. Terminator. And Blacksmith is like, wait, what? Excuse me? Yeah. So it's early days, but the Batman's Mattson Tomlin is the showrunner. Wait, what is?
Wait, what?
A nightmare.
Wait, stop. Yes, that is correct. And they've partnered with Sky.
First of all, stop being two of you on the screen.
Yeah, okay. So Skydance is the company that owns the rights. Matt Reeves, the Batman, will serve as showrunner. And I don't think they've announced anything else yet. They haven't said when it's happening, like in the timeline. But they're saying it's going to be a truly new approach. And that's about it. But I saw that and I was like, nobody's reported on that, so that's kind of odd. I didn't see that anywhere big, but that was in Variety is where it was announced.
Oh, well, that's legit. I didn't hear anything about that, and I am now happier because of that. You have actually made me happier today for the first time since probably we've known each other.
So I can also tell you, which should make you happy, that the first shots from Why the Last Man's television show have been released. Please tell me you read Why the Last Man.
I totally forgot that was actually happening.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it. What? Matt!
You have that same reaction every time I say it. My status has not changed. I still have not read it.
Matt.
A game that I've actually personally regretted not being able to play because it's been locked to Xbox consoles since its launch is coming to PlayStation 4 near you.
Radiant Silvergun?
No, Star Wars game. Sorry, Star Wars Republic Commando.
Oh.
Which is a first-person shooter during the Clone Wars era, playing as a commando team of clone troopers. And it was one of the first, I believe, to implement squad tactics, which is kind of kind of everywhere now. But
yes, I can actually speak about this. I played the original. I really did.
I believe you.
No, but it's just like it's very out of character for me. But I did because it was Star Wars, and it was actually really good.
That's what I've heard.
So I'm actually excited about this.
So yeah, it's coming to PS4 soon with upgraded visuals, upgraded audio, some quality of life stuff. But I was re-looking at the article here, and I don't see a day. Oh no, April 6th. So like really soon. And it does have a platinum trophy because, of course, that's like the thing everybody needs to know now is every game has to have a platinum trophy, or if it's not worth playing. I guarantee you, I will not get the platinum trophy in this game, but I will be playing this game. So I'm hoping that we're going to get some good new Star Wars content soon. We had Fallen Order a while back, and that was really good. But I'm kind of itching for a new Star Wars game. So
I really want a Bad Batch game.
So Banner says, "Can't wait for the Terminator anime." Blacksmith says, "On the top of anime, Shield Hero second and third seasons are confirmed." Yeah, I'll believe that when I see it, because what Shield Hero first season's been out for like 2-3 years now. I would like.
COVID has really messed up.
Yeah, that's true. That is
really
true.
hard.
That is true. Returning to the center of the universe, Fortnite. I don't know that you and I talked about this, Matt. I know Daniel and I did, and I just realized I don't think we've talked about this before. So Batman and Fortnite are doing a crossover 6-part miniseries comic. Okay, so if you buy the first issue called Batman Fortnite 0 Point, you will get the Rebirth Harley Quinn outfit, which is actually better than the one that's currently in the game now. And if you buy all 6 issues of the comic and input the codes in every comic, you'll unlock the Armored Batman Zero outfit for your Fortnite character. These are the only ways to get those. They have said time and time again, when they do stuff like this, it will not appear in the game. So each issue of the comic will sell for $5, with a cardstock cover variant going for $6. It is being written by Christos Gage.
He's in April. Okay, so yeah.
He's in April.
Like first issue.
And I'm going to call it right now because this really looks like they're leading up to a DC season of Fortnite. So I'm thinking Season 6 may be a DC season. So.
And Christos Gage is a solid writer, so it might not just be a complete throwaway story either.
So Christos Gage is the main writer, but then the epic creative chief is Donald Mustard in the library with the candlestick. Working alongside him as story and concept consultant.
That was a Clue joke.
It was a Clue joke. They have like 5 different artists.
Because I'm old.
Yes, they have 5 different artists. Yeah. Boehner's like, what? Send me the link. I missed those. I will send you the link. But yeah, the first one's really soon. It's like May. Is it April 20th for the first one? Oh, that's right. April 20th for the first one, and then it will be bi-weekly starting in May, meaning every 2 weeks starting in May until they have all 6 issues out. So yeah.
Yep.
What else you got, Matt?
That's actually kind of taps me out at the moment.
There was still some big stuff, and I'm trying to find it. There's a Superman reboot movie coming from J.J. Abrams. It does not sound like it will be...
Any good? Yes, I agree.
No. What's his name playing Superman?
Not Henry Cavill.
Not Henry Cavill, yeah.
Which is just unfortunate, because he really did look good.
Yeah, but he got the shaft into the stick in terms of timing.
Yeah, you know something. That's it. Oh God, we're like, can we talk about the fact that we're about to get the Snyder cut of Justice League, and like, is it really going to be any better? I just don't know.
4 hours and 28 minutes or something.
I still haven't watched the first one, and I really don't want to watch this one. So
I guys, for the team, I took it, and I watched the first one just recently, like last week, because I needed to know. And oh my God, I'm totally seeing 2 mark right now. It's freaking me out. So I did actually watch the original one, just so I know, because I realized I never watched the original Justice League, and it's not good. So this Snyder cut really doesn't have to be all that much to be better.
And the story around the whole legend of the Snyder cut, though, I mean, this is not that, right? I mean, the whole legend of the Snyder cut was Snyder had the movie like 98% ready to go, and then Joss Whedon came in and screwed it up, right? I mean, that's the original legend. This is not that. This is him taking all of the stuff that's happened since that movie's been released and taking all of that knowledge and remixing the movie with half hour of new footage, and the rest of it's cut stuff and redone CG and all this other stuff. It's like, so even if you thought that that Snyder had a cut of the movie that would have been perfect and saved the DCEU, this isn't that.
Yeah,
no,
this
it's
is a completely new movie.
It's something new, and it's a one-time deal. Like, he's not doing anything after this. Like, this is like I don't know why they're doing this.
Because they got nothing else.
But the thing, I love that they're doing this at the same time. Like, I don't see the point, but I love it at the same time. Like, I'm so conflicted on this whole project.
And the rumors are now that the internal people at WB are just like, this is bad. This is not good. But they're too invested now. So they can't stop
like
it.
it's like they just have to let them do it just to shut people up. Like, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what is going on here, but I'm so looking forward to this. Speaking
of looking forward to it, the Red Band trailer for Mortal Kombat is the most watched Red Band trailer of all time now.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And it looks good. I'm still keeping my expectations really low. I feel bad because Jax has had his origin story retconned for like the 3rd or 4th time now about how he got those metal arms, but still, it looks pretty good.
But it works. It works for Jax and everything at that point. I'm gonna say, I remember watching that and I was like all on board, and then when it finished, I was just like, "Where's Johnny Cage?"
Yeah, there is no Johnny Cage.
And I get it. The rumor is that it's like this new guy is gonna morph into Johnny Cage and everything like that by the end of it, and it's just like, you know something? Why? Why go through that swerve? And I'm worried about that. I'm worried that it's not going to swerve into Johnny Cage, because it's just like Johnny Cage should be there.
I mean, he's a pretty integral part of the story, so I don't know. Final Fantasy VII Remake's soundtrack is now on Spotify and Apple Music, just FYI. And I'm trying to check if there is any other major news stories that we have. And you, Blacksmith, thank you for the likes. Once again, you are a rock star.
Oh shoot, I lost it. I had it for 1 second, and then it just melted from my brain.
Kena Bridge of Spirits will launch on PS5 and PS4 this August. Announced in the State of Play. I knew there was August 24th specifically. And it is a PlayStation console exclusive. Kena Bridge of Spirits, that's the one about the young martial artist who has the ability to have the cute little black fuzzy creatures follow her around. And she's going up against the ancient martial artist who apparently has elemental magic.
It looks like a super cute
Pixar movie
variant. Yeah, it looks like a Pixar movie, but a lot of the gameplay looks very reminiscent of like Horizon Zero Dawn. with the character, with a weapon that can be used in multiple different ways. And my daughter is super psyched for this game, and it's only $40, and that's if you want to buy the expensive version.
And without explaining what it is for spoiler side, I thought it was rather humorous because this happened since between the last time that we actually had the show. Agatha all along is been at #1 on Apple Music and Spotify for a week or two now, which is pretty amazing.
Did you see the remix car commercials?
Yes.
That
yes.
was the best.
The trap bass remix so far has been my favorite.
I have not watched any of this.
Animaniacs got renewed for season 3 already.
Oh, sweet.
Did either of you guys watch the Superman and Lois, or Lois and Superman, or whatever the CW show is?
I did get to watch
totally
a good
realize.
I forgot to put it in my list.
Started again. I'm just going to talk over Mark.
Yeah, I saw that. I did get to see a good chunk of it, not all of it. I will say that the biggest standout is that they actually have an effects budget. All I do is I watch Lois and Clark and go, why can't Flash have this budget? Because it looks real good, is the short answer.
I've heard it's good. I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard it's actually...
Oh, no, I mean, the story was good too. But, I mean, the fight scenes look really good. And every time he uses his powers looks really good. So...
But I'm also, I'm a real sucker. Like, I'm going to be honest. That Dean Cain and...
Lois and Clark.
Yeah, like, I was a sucker for that show. Like, I love that whole, like... Clark and Lois angle on there. So I'm on board with this show. I have to set it to record on Hulu because I totally forgot that it started. But I'm excited to check it out. And the Flash also restarted, which I wasn't aware of that it was already restarting because my schedule is completely off because of.
So I'm wearing noise-canceling headsets, and I just pulled it off my ear for a hot second, and I realized that Lexi is directly above me watching Dallas, and so I just noticed that I was hearing bum, 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 and I'm like, oh, please don't get me copyright struck for Dallas.
Old Dallas?
The very old Dallas. And yes, I agree, Mark, all CW shows need their budget banner. Yes. I wholeheartedly agree.
But wait a minute, Flash always looked decent, right?
The CG looks pretty rough. Well, I mean, granted, it's what I went to school for, but it looks pretty rough a lot of the time.
No, but come on, we sat through Powers. That was rough CG.
That was also rough CG.
No, not also.
They can both be rough CGE. It's just varying levels CGI.
No, Flash was decent.
Yeah. I'm sorry, it's really not in a lot of the episodes. Like Gorilla Grodd, yes. They did a budget on Gorilla Grodd, he looks good. But a lot of their fight scenes between Zoom and Barry, not so much. Not so good.
Don't upset me.
Sorry.
Can I take a second to complain about Turtle Beach's support?
Yes, you definitely can because they're crap cracker.
I am working on week 4 of a warranty claim.
So ridiculous.
They took, well, and see, it's crazy too because Mitchell's actually broke. We had the same piece fail. We have the same headset. And his failed way before mine. And when mine started to break, I was like, I wonder if I can get this under a warranty claim. So I started the process. 3 weeks in, I had him start the process because it looked like it was going to go through because his is completely shattered. Mine is just cracking at this point. And so I finally, after 3 weeks, got approved for the RMA and said, hey, you should see a shipment notice within a couple of days. I am now a week past that, and I do not have a shipping date or a shipping notification yet. Mitchell, fortunately for him, the whole RMA process that took me 3 weeks only took him 1. So that's good. I don't know why the difference, but for him, I'm glad. But neither of us have a ship date yet. So I don't know. It's just I'm going on week 4 of not being able to use my headset, and it's ticking me off. So
I think my last piece of news is a couple things. Number one, there's an animated film for Transformers in the development with Toy Story 4's Josh Cooley directing. No word on a release date yet. And number two, Nickelodeon and Hasbro announced a new animated Transformer show that has already been picked up for 26 half-hour episodes. No title yet, but it basically described it as an action comedy series that focuses on a new species of transforming robots who are adopted by a human family.
Oh,
I'm on board. I'm on board.
Oy vey. Would these be the minimals instead of the maximals?
Oh, that's.
What was the name of the headmasters? I'm hoping for headmasters.
Weapon masters, headmasters, motor masters. Oh my gosh!
I was always jealous because I always wanted the headmasters.
Oh, I had the headmasters. They were great.
It was like after I stopped collecting Transformers, and I was just like,
Banner says Petformers. Petformers, more than meets the eye. What?
Autobots use the litter box.
Oh man!
I'm just double checking that I am. Well, we got the name of the next Spider-Man movie. It's No Way Home. Tom Holland also confirmed that it is his last contractual appearance as Spider-Man.
That was a hilarious trailer.
Yes.
Showing off
the reveal thing. Yeah, that was
yeah.
pretty good. That was really well done.
Yeah, like I didn't. Him just like saying like, I don't spoil anything.
the last movie.
Yeah, that was really funny. I like that kid. I don't want to see him like leave as Spider-Man, but I get it.
So to go back to what we were talking about at the very beginning, full circle, about WandaVision getting a potential second season 2, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Feige was cornered and was asked point blank, will they get a second season? And he said they are planning second seasons that are yet to be announced, but he cannot say for sure whether WandaVision specifically will be given a second season, but elaborated that some of the shows that we are about to start filming, we are keeping in mind a structure that would lead into a season 2 and season 3 in a more direct way than a show like WandaVision clearly goes into a feature film. So it is possible that there could be another one after Multiverse of Madness, but maybe not for WandaVision. But maybe for some of these other ones. And I'm going to say that's it. Because we're back to... I know I'm still only 8 days back, but it seems like I'm missing something big. Twilight Zone was canceled. Anthem canceled. We talked about that as well. Anthem's Reboot canceled. There's a new Beavis and Butthead movie headed to Paramount Plus.
Yeah, that's the service I will never subscribe to.
THQ Nordic is seemingly teasing a Destroy All Humans 2 remake.
That was a fun game back in the day.
And it is a potential casting of Henry Cavill starring in something Mass Effect.
Ooh.
Yeah, they de-blurred him holding a script, and it had Mass Effect. The other theory is that he's voicing a character in the yet-to-be-named Mass Effect game.
And I'm thinking that really is pretty much... Oh, Defiance is shutting down. The video game based on the TV show. finally could survive no longer, and that was it.
I was actually surprised it had lived this long. So
yes. Yep, that's it.
TikTok is a weird place. That's
it is, but I like it. Well, let's go to take a moment to sent you 2 wrestling texts. Check your phone after the show. Okay, I will. It's right now broadcasting Bigo Live, so I can't check it yet. Let's go to where we talk about how we appreciate all of our supporters, like you, Blacksmith, like Banner, like all of our patrons and Twitch subscribers. Thank you, everyone, for helping make the show go, continue on through all of its incarnations, so that we want to do more shows like putting 500 hours into a D&D game. We appreciate you for that, and let's move on to final thoughts. Matt, final thought for...
Final thought. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but
just like
Keanu Reeves
and everything.
Keanu Reeves, the man who does everything, now has a comic book. Well, kind of. So
apparently does not have any vowels, though.
Keanu Reeves is writing this. I think he's more of the concept guy. Matt Kint is the co-writer. I'm assuming he's doing most of the script dialogue. Ron Garney is doing the art on it, so it's got that art style to it. I haven't read it yet, but I flipped through it. It's very early TMNT brutality kind of stuff. But the main character, who is obviously not Keanu Reeves, it's totally Keanu Reeves, is an immortal berserker, hence the title, who is very Wolverine, Deadpool-ish, like can get blown up and regenerate back to his regular self.
Does he shout Berserker Barrage?
I don't think so. I haven't actually read it yet. But I think he's
it's a Capcom X-Men joke.
But synopsis is the whole point is he's working as an operative for the U.S. government in exchange for them learning the secrets of his immortality and making him mortal. So it's a 12-issue maxi, so it's 12 issues and done. So that's issue 1, came out this week. If you're interested, it's be online in your local comic retailer.
Dave, fun thought.
Dude, I got nothing. I don't know. I'm blank slate right now.
Who you are, where you are, what day it is.
No, you can't find his bed right now.
No, we're seriously we're like the 2nd year into the pandemic, and I'm still playing Animal Crossing. For God's sakes, put me out of my misery.
My final thought is Revolution this Sunday. Join us for the live reaction stream. You won't be able to watch the actual pay-per-view on our stream. That would be illegal. You need to buy it if you want to watch it. But you will be able to hear it, and you'll be able to see our real-time reactions when somebody gets blown up in a exploding barbed wire deathmatch. So there's that. Let's see. You Blacksmith said final thought, Skyrim needs more mods. Yes, always.
Wait, what? That went way too fast for me to comprehend right now. What'd you say?
You Blacksmith said final thought, Skyrim needs more mods.
Nice.
Yeah. That brings us to the final part of our show where we offer you a sage piece of wisdom to carry you over till next we meet. And that I will post to Matt. Matt, did you hear
Thanks
about
for leaving me out of it? Thanks for leaving me out of it.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
Matt, did you hear about the mediocre restaurant on the moon?
No, I did not.
It has great food, but no atmosphere. Join us on Sunday. Until next time, thanks for watching a Game On.
Game On. Next time we have a podcast, we'll have an episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yay!
Oh God, we already have that. Now, is that starting next week, or is that just
2 weeks?
2 weeks. So what do we have next week? I'll be sad. highlight my sadness wager, man. Like, I'm gonna accidentally wake up at 5 a.m. next week. And I'm not gonna know what's going on. It's supposed to be quiet.